So we've got Victoria talking us through team-focused digital productivity tools. And yeah, any questions, throw them in the chat if you're on Facebook or Zoom. And yeah, we want to keep this one pretty open. So, if you have any thoughts on what you do, put them in and we can have a discussion. But yeah, I'll throw it over to you, Victoria.
Great. Good morning, everyone. Always good to see everyone. I'm going to just quickly share my screen. Let's go. And okay. We'll go back to the beginning. Okay. So let's start again. So good morning, everyone. Our penultimate Q&A session for this year. So we've got one more tomorrow, which is going to be an overview with the wonderful Tip and Lily from the Digital Boost Small Business Support Team. So this morning, I'm going to go through some team-focused digital productivity tools. So before we get started, let's have a think about actually what does that mean? So when we think about team productivity tools, these are all the tools we use within our team to collaborate and communicate, especially during times of pandemics and across different time zones. So we actually touched on some of these in the Q&A on Tuesday. And then this is just going through some more and in a bit more detail. So as we always say, there are so many tools out there to help you on your digital journey. So what Digital Boost aim to do is just give a real overview and give you some exposure to some of those tools, especially the ones that we use. And we're always happy to discuss with you your needs and make some recommendations of some of the tools that you can look into. But it does all come down to that business decision and you choosing what's right for you, your team, and how you work best. So, team productivity tools. The three main areas are tools which look at your performance. So obviously you want to increase your own or your team's productivity. We can do this by streamlining our processes and improving time management. So especially when in times of disruption, we want to be really flexible, continue to be kind to ourselves, to our teams, but we still need to get the work done. So sometimes we just have to find other tools to help us do this. We also want to keep an eye, an overview, and an oversight on how projects are going, and if there are any obstacles or roadblocks that we might need to address and then change what we're doing. And that might come down to task management. So we want to make sure that everyone's working towards the same goal, even if you're a one-man band or a sole trader and maybe just with someone helping you with some of the admin. Just need to make sure that there's a sequence to the tasks and that your team's workload isn't too much and that you can move tasks around and just get the job done. And then it comes down to team collaboration. So this again is maintaining really good communication. With communication, even when the wheels fall off, as long as your team and you're communicating well, you can address these issues. And I always like to think, outwardly, you're this beautiful swan or duck, but underneath the water, your little ducky feet can be going crazy, but outwardly, everything's fine. And that's keeping the business and your customers feeling really confident about what you do. So we want to use tools to help us do this. So where to start? Obviously, I'm going to say, check out the videos on Digital Boost. Look at the digital tools category first. There's so many how-to videos. They'll help you get started. There's usually an introduction to each of the topics, sometimes an introduction to that tool if it's quite in-depth. And then there'll be step-by-step videos to help you get started. So how to get it set up, how to set up your first maybe Trello board, how to set up your campaign, how to use it, some top tips So it's a great place to start with a digital tools category online on the Digital Boost website. The next is watch some real world stories to see what other people in your industry are doing. So the real world stories category, these are small businesses just like you using digital tools for productivity, for all types of reasons. So that's a really good place to start. You can start with your industry, but then look at other industries to see what they're using. Maybe there's some crossover. And just like this Q&A session, there are heaps of Q&A sessions on the Digital Boost site presented by industry experts covering all the tools and topics you need really in-depthly. These are longer, but you do get really, really good insight from them. And the other thing is, if you do watch a video for Trello, for example, go on to Trello. You might see that they have their own tutorials, and you'll also find that when you sign up for a lot of these tools and apps, for about the first week or even longer, you'll keep getting emails from them about onboarding. So they want you to use the tool. It's not just that they want you to register, they want you to use it. So, and some even have training academies where you sort of follow step by step, a little like Digital Boost, where, the more you watch, the more you learn, you get your digital badges. So yeah, just keep going. Something to consider in that is time management when it comes to learning new skills and digital tools. You will have to put some time aside. So you're just going to need to balance that out with how much time are you prepared to give to get on your digital journey, to discover these new tools and to learn how to use them. And please remember, Digital Boost isn't just for business owners, it's for your entire team. It's so important that with Digital Boost and all of these digital tools, that you get your entire team on board and moving in the same direction on that digital journey. And then lastly, but by no means least, reach out to us, Digital Boost Small Business Support Team. You can email us anywhere on the websites. Just scroll to the bottom of any page you're on and click the Get in Touch button. We're there to support you. We're available from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. Monday to Friday, and we'll always respond to you as quickly as we can. And if the person on the line at that time isn't the expert in our team, we'll make an appointment or schedule you to have a catch up. But we're always more than happy to talk about your needs because it's a learning for us, and perhaps there may be a gap. So we can fill that gap with more tutorials, more how-to videos, and real-world stories that you need to see. So we're going to have a look at 3 tools just really briefly. The first one is Asana. So if we're thinking about keeping track of performance, we want a really good overview. And there are some tools that only give us oversight of one type of plan, but Asana offers so many different screens. You can go to a Gantt chart, or you can have almost a Kanban board. Asana does have a lot of options for you. So some of the things I love about Asana are got great custom templates. So especially when you're starting out, it's really helpful. I love templates, even in like Word or Docs or slides. Templates really help you out. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you want to do something. If it already exists, use it and change it for yourself. That's why these things are customizable. So you can choose the type of template that you want to get started. What I love about Asana, especially with keeping track of performance within your team, is it's really important that once you set up one of these templates or a board you're going to use, what's the process? Because you need to tell your team how to use it so that they buy into it and that they use it too. So some of the really good automations here are, the first thing that you can do is, so you set up a work request form. So depending on what industry you work in, a lot of us are used to working with briefs. So a brief is just a document that just bullet points and outlines all the essential details that you need to move on with a project or any piece of work. So it tells you, what you need to do, sometimes why you're doing it, so that you know the goal, so you know that you're on track and you're doing it right, who it's for, when it needs to be done by, and who you need to tell it's done. And so you can add all of these details in the work request forms. Another good thing about Asana is, deadlines move. We set deadlines, and we set deadlines within deadlines, but deadlines move, especially in times like this. So with Asana, you can just click and drag. You can just move the deadline across. So it's super easy date shifting. The other thing that I really like here is you choose your template, you get your brief done so everyone knows exactly what they need to do. You set your dates, you can move your dates. But the most important thing is when everything is done, when you've gone through and everything's been assigned and you tick all of those details off, the approvals there where people come in, they review what's being done, and then they say, yep, this looks great, it's done, and we know it's completed. And that means that you can move confidently onto the next project or the next piece of work you have, that it's approved, it's gone to the next person, that it's approved, the job's complete, and your guns blazing. That's Asana. As we always say, we're not promoting any of these particular tools. There are so many tools to choose from. Asana is just one that's really good for this. So a great thing to do is check out these great videos on Digital Boost that are about Asana. So we've got project management with Asana, and there's also 2 fireside chats, which are like Q&As, a mixture of a Q&A and a real world story. So these are businesses talking about how they use digital tools. The next one I touched on Tuesday on another session. So I just wanted to just go back and have a look at it. So tracking tasks with Trello using Kanban or the Kanban methodology. Now, Trello is rated about 3rd in tools, but for its simplicity. Asana, Monday.com, there's so many different functionalities, but Trello hits the mark with a lot of people because it does Kanban really well and really easily. So Kanban, if you watch the Tuesday session, Kanban methodology is basically creating lists. So cards that sit within lists, and they sit within different process or procedures. And the first one is to-do list, doing list, and done. So it couldn't be easier. You can add other lists in as well in the streamline of the line of progress, but they're your basics. So if we just have a look, so Trello looks a lot like this. You can put really good images behind what you're doing to sort of make it more visually appealing. Then, you have the basics. You've got your board, which is the overall project or the work. You've got your lists. So the lists are the different stages. And then you've got your cards. So each card is the task. What I love about the cards is within the card, you can assign to members. So each person in your team, you can assign the overall card. You can assign different tasks. You can set due dates for each task within it. You can bring in attachments. So if you've got Google folders and files that you want to bring in that, for that particular card or that task, keep everything in the same place. It really does make it super easy. And then you can add checklists. So checklists are like a really good tool. And basically it's exactly what it says. It's a little list and you can just tick off and it just puts a strike through each time you've done that piece of work. And it could be done by different people, but it's a really good way to visually see if something's being done for yourself, for your team, anyone looking at it. They can look on the checklist, look on the card and say, oh, well, that's not ticked off, but I'm sure Victoria told me this morning that had been done. And then in the card, you can just add a message and mention the person and just say, hey, Victoria, was this completed? And then I'll come back into my card because I'll get my notification via email or however I've got it set up. And then I just go, oh yeah, it was done. I just forgot to tick it in there. And then all done. And it gives you such fantastic visibility. And it really is simple and easy. Trello is a good starting point for if this is quite new for you and your team, start here, and then you can move on to Asana, Monday.com, and many others. So there's lots of great videos on Digital Boost, and here are some of them. So your first Trello board explained. So going in a lot more detail than I am here. And also don't forget, with the wonderful how-to videos we have, you also get a learning summary underneath, and there's a transcript. So you can actually read through and get some of the tips and tricks right there. There's another overview of Trello. And then there's actually a real world story. So you can listen to someone talking about how they use it in their business, which is sometimes really helpful. Okay, the last one I'm going to touch on is more for collaboration and communication. So it's a app called Mule. Again, it's got great templates. I find it really easy to get on board with these types of software when they have templates that I can look at and draw some ideas from, and then think about how can I use this in my team. As well as that, it keeps everything really, really visual, which is great about all of these. So you can put sticky notes, you can drag and drop, you can have images, you can put GIFs in, and most importantly, you can share. Something I like about Mule is using it for meetings and keeping meetings, especially brainstorming sessions or ones where you have a really clear outcome at the end. You keep meetings on track because it has a timer. You can add a timer in, and then you all know what you're working towards. You can summon people, so you can make sure that it's the right content for the right people. And also you can go through the outline. So the outline is basically like an agenda. So it really does keep you on track all the time. And it just helps things tick along and gets you, remembering what the purpose of the meeting, what the outcome is, the process you're going through as well. Also, I like Mule, and I've just started using it, so there's going to be a lot more to come, but it really helps. You can comment while you're in boards, either during the meetings where you're collaborating or where you're just working on your own, whether it's a board or something you're collaborating with lots of people. You can share, you just copy other people in. I think nowadays we're all really used to when we're using tools like this or even Google Docs, we're all used to seeing that little bubble at the top with either initials or someone's photo that tells us that these people are sharing or that they're even in there at the same time. So what I like about this is you can comment on things that others have done. You can share with others, but also it has text chat. So if you see that someone else is working on the document at the same time, obviously, if you're using something like Slack for the team, you can be chatting on there. But I like Mule because you can actually chat in the document at that time or on the board that you're working from. So I really like it. Mule's quite new for us anyway. And so don't forget, we're always looking for new tools to investigate, to find out how they can work for New Zealand small businesses. So if there's something that you're looking for, don't forget to use the search on the Digital Boost website. Just little search option, just go type in whatever it is that doesn't have to be a full sentence, it's just keywords. So Trello, type in Trello, anything with Trello in it will come up. Asana. So just use the search function. It's so good. And then obviously you can jump online and check out all the easy to follow how-to videos. for working remotely or your productivity. You've got your digital tools category, and within there, you've got all the collaboration tools and productivity tools. If something's not there, let us know. Reach out to us and say, oh, I found this tool. It's really interesting. I'd love to know what you think. Our team can jump on it, have a look, do a bit of research and see what we think. And, we can add more videos. So I was going to see what questions there are out there, if any. So tip, if there are any questions before I move on.
Yeah, so I guess like with question, what do you use? Like, what do you use all three of these, or I guess?
Yeah, I actually do. So I guess I used to use Trello, and then because of where I was working, we were fully Microsoft Suite. So I then started to use, because we did everything across Teams and SharePoint sites, I then started to just use Planner, which is part of that suite. But Trello still integrates with Trello will integrate with Slack, it will integrate with Microsoft Teams. Most of these apps talk to each other now. And then when I came to Digital Boost, they used Trello, and then we moved to Asana because Trello, it's quite limited. Like I said, it's awesome to keep it simple and it's a good place to start. But once you want to build on that, you will find that you need to go somewhere else or to do something else. So we found that we naturally progressed to Asana. And then, like the majority, well, all of the Digital Boost team, the Digital Boost family, we're always looking for new ways to work, new apps, new software. So Mule is something I found maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I thought it was quite fun because at the time I was looking for collaborative things to do in online meetings to like build team spirit or to get to know each other a bit better. And it had some really good templates that were quite fun. So I just kept looking into it. But yeah, I use all of these and there are so many more. Yeah, and I've used monday.com as well. What do you use, Tip?
I've honestly mostly just used Trello in my past. I've used a couple other ones that are quite similar to Trello. Like I do like the Kanban board style.
Yeah.
I find the simpler ones work better for me, and I guess that's like a good point in terms of like not everything works for everyone, and depending on your industry as well. Like, some things that your friend in some other industry might use might not be relevant to you, and that's okay. But just find what works for you best.
And keep it simple. Always keep it simple. If Trello, Miro, Canva, if something does the job for you, don't feel that you need to go bigger just because other people are doing it. Also, always look at the pricing options. Almost everything has a free option. Just check out how much you get for free. You usually get maybe between 3 and 5 boards. But, I just find that limits you to like, if you've already got your 4 boards and you want one more, and that's going to take you to the next where you're going to have to pay. It's a really good time to just look at them and say, why do I need another board? Can I incorporate into what we're already doing? Because obviously you want to keep things really simple and smooth for you and your team.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and like, cool. Another question is, oh, sorry.
No, go. I will wait.
For like small teams and big teams, are there like any like particular tools that you think would work for smaller teams or which wouldn't really work for a big team or vice versa?
I don't believe it's about the size of the team at first. It's about whether this type of system's new to you. If it is, I'm a big believer in bringing everyone on board and being able to use the tool. So, I mean, there's no point having this big fancy 3D printing printer if only one person out of a team of 20 can use it, it's not really productive. It's exactly the same with your digital tools. You know, if Victoria in the office is really excited about Mule, because that's the type of thing she's into, doesn't mean anyone else is going to get on board if it's not easy and it's not, you know, step by step. So as well as thinking about the tool that's right for you and your business, think about, you know, is it easy to onboard people onto it? Because like I keep saying, if you start with Trello or Miro, there are other apps and software that do more, but you can move on to them at a later stage once you get too big for that, or once it doesn't give you the functionality that you need. But I would say start simple. So just have a look on the Digital Boost site. Because it's made for small businesses in New Zealand, especially for ones getting onto their digital journey, you'll find mostly that it takes you to the apps and the software. That's a good starting point. And then reach out to the team. If, you know, we want to talk to small business owners, we want to talk to people that work in small businesses to see what their pain points are, what they need, and then we can try and help them find the tools to do that.
Cool. Nice, amazing. And then we got another one, which I'm happy to answer, which is if you work by yourself, is it worth getting these tools? And I'd say yes, because I personally used I used to use it, even when I was studying as like a, task management tool, and like they work really well on that. And if you are a small business and you do use it and then you do hire, it's really intuitive and easy for someone else to come in and see exactly what goes on. And it will definitely help the induction process, and, in terms of like what tasks you're doing, there'll be all the historical tasks as well that they can look at. So anything to add on that, Victoria?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think these tools are a must if you're working on your own as well. Obviously keep them simple, but if you're working on your own, you're probably not working in the space of a digital tool. So use them to keep everything in one place. And like I said, like Tips just said, if you do scale up and you bring more people in, everything is there for them to see and to look at and to use themselves. But also the tools you use to, especially for automating or reducing administrative tasks or planning or tracking your business and your processes, this gives you more time to do the work that you actually get paid for. So yeah, it's super important.
Cool. Yeah. And if anyone does want to kind of like run through how you might use a Trello board working by yourself, just give us a buzz and we're happy to discuss it with you. And yeah, you can continue now, Victoria.
Yeah. So if there weren't any more questions, I was just going to run through some like common questions that we'd had, and so questions that we ask small businesses. So when Tip and I and the team, when we're all working with small businesses, what we try to do is ask them what are some of their pain points around communication. So how do they communicate with their customers? How do they communicate with their team members? How do they communicate with other providers? This is something for you to think about, which will help you choose and use a digital tool for communication. So I don't know if we have any questions, but yeah, it's just some of the things that we address when we speak to small businesses. Another thing we look at is how do you track and keep visibility of work? So obviously, if you're using Trello or Asana or any of the other tools that you're putting your tasks in and you're moving them, it's really easy for you or for others to see where you're at without having to call you and ask you questions. It's also, as a manager or as the business owner, if you do have other staff, it's a really good way just to make sure that everyone's on track. especially in times of like pandemics and lockdowns. You just want to make sure that the work's going ahead, but that you've got good visibility, and that you can just check in on people and just say, how are you going? And then if there is an obstacle or there's a barrier, then you can look at solutions for that. Something else to ask yourself is, what digital tools do you use to collaborate on projects and tasks? And are they working for you? Are they doing what you thought they were going to do? We're at the end of the year. I'm sure no one wants to really take on extra work, but it's a good time to not only reflect on sort of how the year has been, how you're doing, but also, in your business, are the things you're doing in your business, are they working? And if they're not, are there other things that you can look at doing? And this is the same for your digital tools and your digital presence as well. And then I touched on this on Tuesday, and I will touch on it again. All of these tools are wonderful and fantastic, but sometimes it comes down to the team, and it's all about the people. So what are you doing to keep yourself, or your team motivated? Sometimes we just need to laugh so that we can move on and just get the job done. We work hard, we want to celebrate. So what are you doing for recognition, either for yourself that you've come through another year, or for your team, and how are you keeping that going? And you can do that through digital tools as well. On Mule, there's quite a funny thing that you can do with GIFs. So there's a lot more to these digital tools than just streamlining processes. And then something for you to consider if you are wanting to reach out to Digital Boost or other organizations that can help small businesses in New Zealand is, what do you most need help with when it comes to this type of topic? So, we're always being told we need a digital presence. Small businesses need a digital presence. It's not all about websites. There's lots of other digital tools, not all about social media, but looking at everything in your business. What do you need help with? And then reach out and get that help. And yeah, I guess if there are any other questions, I'd love to answer them. Otherwise, I'll just talk to Tip.
Yeah, no, that's all. I think it's covered everything really well. So, that's really cool.
Awesome. Well, that's it from me. And I'm wrapping up for the holidays. And so, yeah, enjoy the last Q&A session of 2021 tomorrow. And yeah, get in touch, reach out to Digital Boost. We'd love to talk to you about your small business and see where we can help.
Yeah, cool, amazing. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Victoria, and I'm sure everyone here looks forward to seeing you next year, and we all hope you have a good break. And to everyone joining us on Zoom, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, yeah, thanks if this was your first time, or you're a multiple user. It's really nice seeing you all here today. And we've got one more session tomorrow, and then yeah, and then it's Christmas. So then we'll see you again on the 10th of January, Victoria included. So don't worry, she's not gone for long. Have a good Merry Christmas, and yeah.